Welcome back to Art Classes with Jen. This is lesson 2. Last lesson, we learned about line, and we're going to continue learning about line today as well. More lines. First, we're going to stand up, and I want you to shake your fingers out. I want you to shake your arms out. I want you to shake your legs out. Get all that creativity moving through your body. All right, come back to your place. Are you feeling creative? I hope so. We're going to start today, and we're going to discuss a little bit about what we learned last week. Now, last week, we explored lines that were horizontal and vertical. So we looked at vertical lines, we looked at horizontal lines, and then we worked on combining those lines to create artwork. Today, we are going to explore diagonal lines, zigzag lines, and curved lines. So let's take a look. We're going to wipe away our vertical and our horizontal lines, and we're going to explore a little bit about what we're talking about. So we have our diagonal lines. So our diagonal lines, we have our zigzag lines, and we have curved lines. Now these lines kind of move across the page in a different way than our vertical and our horizontal. Now I want you to go ahead and grab a piece of paper, and I want you to draw some curved lines, and I want you to draw some zigzag lines, and I want you to draw some diagonal lines all over your page. Keep creating. All right, are you getting your lines worked out? Perfect. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time to explore these lines. Otherwise, we're going to move into our first project, which is a little bit challenging today. So today, we're actually going to draw self-portraits of ourselves. But here's the trick. We're not going to lift our pen. We're going to draw these self-portraits in one continuous line. All right, so grab your paper and your marker or your pencil, and we're going to explore what this is going to look like. This is going to be a little bit challenging. So try starting with maybe your nose. Come up, eyeball. And see what you can do. There's an ear. Come down around. And you can go back over your lines. The whole idea, though, is to do it without lifting your pen. All right, so grab your paper and your drawing utensil and let's get to work. I want you to try it in several different ways. Start with your nose, and then your next one, start with an ear. Maybe on your next one, start with an eye. All right, get to work and see what you can create. Pause the video if you need more time to do this. Challenge yourself. Try so many different combinations. Maybe you have a mirror close by. Look at different facial features that you want to make sure that you include in your self-portraits. So let's keep working for a little bit longer. Go ahead and pause and try to do 3 more self-portraits. They can be small, they can be big. It's up to you. To get a little bit more inspired by looking at other artists who might be working in a similar type of style, we're going to take a look at artist Christophe Louise, or he's also known by his artist name Quibe. Now he is a French artist and he's creating work, and his work is focusing on the simplicity of using line. His website reads, his graphic one-line illustrations capture moments, movement, and different perspectives with an elegant, essentialist touch. For artists, it is a way to simplify complex world around them while communicating a powerful message. It's really interesting to think about an artist using really simple line. So let's see what his website shows us. We're going to look at some portraits by Quibe today and see how he uses one line to create these. There's his florals, and he does horses, sports, and here we are. We're going to click into his portraits and take a look. I'm going to kind of go through a few of them, give us some inspiration here. And again, he is mostly working with one line in his work. All right. Now that we've looked at a little bit of Quibe's work, let's try one more self-portrait. This time thinking about that one line that's moving across your page. Follow your pen and create your self-portrait. We're going to take a moment and we're going to look back over the self-portraits that we created. Do you notice different details that you included in each one that you did? Did you notice how maybe they changed when you started with your nose versus your ears? It's interesting to see where a line can take us. And it's interesting to see what happens when we allow our pen to flow across the page. Now, we're going to learn about another artist today who follows the pen when she is creating her artwork. Her artwork isn't one line, but many lines that flow from her pen as she creates. Her name is Chantelle Martin. So let's take a look at a video of her creating some of her work. I'm going to bring that up and we're just going to take a look at what she is doing. And her style is very different than we see with Quibe, but it is very fun. All right, I think I have the sound turned on to make sure that we can hear what she's saying. Let's take a look.
I basically, put the pen down and then just go with it. The pen knows where it's going, and I've got very good at following. So usually it starts off with a very, fast movement, and then I'll step back and fill in the gaps. If there's a soft line, so then I'll do a nose, and if you have a nose, you need eyes and then a mouth. So it's like a language unfolding. Stick men are great because you can put them to work. They're always pushing and pulling things. So my name's Chantelle Martin and I draw. I draw on everything. Cars, shoes, people, walls, clothes, planes, whatever I can get my hands on. When you use colour, in a way you're directing people where to look because the stronger colours will draw your attention. When you have something that's very black and white, 10 people look at it, they're all going to be drawn to a different place. When there's other people involved, I love to use colour. But when it's me, when there's that interaction between me and the paper, there's something very special about keeping it black and white. It's very calming and you can't hide. When I finished school, I went to St. Martin's in London, ended up moving to Japan and in the music or avant-garde or the club scene there. So drawing live drawn digital visuals on my computer and having those projected live to DJs and dancers and musicians. I felt a little isolated and things are very small there. So the way I was drawing in Japan was very personal, So these are almost like my old diaries in a way, of things, people, places. When you draw with a 0.05 pen, it's so fine that you have to get really close to the pen. So there's only you and the pen and the paper in the space. Whereas when you come to somewhere like America, everything's so big and bold and confident and there's all this space. And so I feel like it naturally got bigger because of the environment here. The assumption is that I think about what I'm doing, I don't. But then at the same time, it's not like I'm coming to it with kind of no idea. I come to a drawing with intention and good intention to make something work. I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and how I'm meant to be connecting with the world. I get asked, how do I plan my composition? And I'm like, I don't plan, it just works. And I don't know how it works or why it works, but I trust in the pen and I trust in this experience. And every time I step back, I secretly say to myself, it works. There you go, I had that feeling, so I'm finished.
The pen knows where it's going, and I have gotten really good at following it. That's what Chantelle Martin says as she's creating her work. What do you think about allowing the pen to lead you in your artwork? We're going to create some Chantelle Martin inspired work today. So grab your pens and a fresh piece of paper, and I want you to follow the pen. Let the pen flow across your page. See where it takes you. And I know Chantelle Martin said she likes to draw on lots of different surfaces, but we need to be mindful to keep our drawings only in the space provided to us. So remember, she has a whole studio she has set up that allows her to draw on various materials. In our own home, though, we want to keep our drawings on our piece of paper. All right, so in that case, it's our paper that's sitting right in front of us, ready to be drawn on. So let's get started. Let's allow the pen to flow. So find a starting point and go ahead and let your pen roll across the page. See where it takes you. And then once you have started out with your lines and seeing where it goes, then remember, Chantelle Martin fills in with stick figures and words, shapes, and faces. Maybe you see a nose right in here and an eye. Maybe there's a little stick figure walking here. Maybe this one feels like it needs another little loop into a flower. So see where it takes you. Follow your pen. I want you to go ahead and create a few different pieces. Try to do 2 or 3 different arrangements and see how they come out. See where the pen takes you. How do they differ from one another? And then I want you to think about how the difference in Chantelle's approach than from some of the artists that we've learned about last week. Does it feel easier to allow your pen to flow across the page? How does that compare then also with our continuous line work? Now, in our continuous line work, we were going across the page with one line, right, flowing through, but we weren't supposed to lift our pen. And now in Chantelle's, we're following the flow of our pen, but we're allowing it to lift and to add in. What feels more natural? What do you gravitate towards? I want you to go ahead and work on one more Chantelle piece. If you want, you can try it on different types of paper, different sizes. Try it on a small piece, try it on a large piece. Maybe you have some poster boards you want to grab and try that as well. I want you to go ahead and spend about 5 minutes working on your pieces. Once you've completed, then go ahead and spread them out in front of you. How does it feel to create this work? So Chantelle said that she created that book when she was in Japan, like a diary. And I want you to think about that and think about the different things that you would draw throughout your day. We're actually going to have a challenge for the end of class. So we'll talk about this a little bit more. We do have one more project for today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our different pipe cleaners here. And I have lots of different colors. You can use one color, you can use multiple colors. And what we're going to do is we're going to think about our pipe cleaners as our line. So we might have a horizontal line and a vertical line. We might end up having curved lines. We could have a diagonal line. We could have zigzag lines. So I want you to go ahead and take all your pipe cleaners today, and I want you to go ahead and create a new self-portrait, but this time using your pipe cleaners instead of your pen and paper. So go ahead and try this out. Maybe you want to make a really small one. Maybe you want to use more pipe cleaners and make a larger one. See where this takes you. And then let's take a look. What does your pipe cleaner portrait look like compared to your continuous line drawing portrait? Are there similarities? Lines can do a lot for us, can't they? They can create all different types of artwork. Isn't it cool to see all the endless possibilities we have when we're using lines? The shapes of lines, the length of lines, the size of lines, they can all be used to express ourselves creatively. So these were our challenges today. Let's look back. We created our continuous line drawing. We created Chantelle Martin inspired artwork, and we created a sculpture using line with pipe cleaners. So we created using line in 3 different ways today. We've challenged ourselves quite a bit. If you're interested in challenging yourself this week with a couple of things, I have a few ideas for you. First, find a notebook, calendar, create a grid on a piece of paper, make an accordion book. I can show you how to do that too. I can link below on a couple of projects that show you how to make accordion books. So use these various items as a canvas to keep track of your daily drawings. Try to sketch daily on these, like how Chantelle kept her sketches from Japan, like a diary or a journal. Try to sketch this upcoming week, each day, something that stands out to you. The second option, ask your grown-up for a cardboard box that you can draw in and on. This box is your studio, like Chantelle Martin. You can draw all over this studio box, filling it with lines, letting the pen or marker lead you to fill in the spaces of the box. Remember to keep your drawings in your cardboard box studio. Third option, try creating a few Chantelle Martin inspired works, but this time try including different colors. How does adding the color change the overall feel of your drawing? Do the lines seem to interact with the page in a different way? Your fourth option is all about continuous line portraits. Choose one member of your family or your friends to draw their portrait using continuous line, and then ask them to draw your portrait. Chantelle Martin tells us, being yourself truly is the most important thing you can give your creativity. So think about that today. Be yourself, express yourself, and all of your creativity will come flowing out onto the page. I hope you enjoyed class today, learning more about line and learning about Christophe Louise and Chantelle Martin. We'll see you next time.